Word list. Arise. To arise is to happen.
Difficulties arose with his computer because it was old.
Benefactor. A benefactor is a person who gives money to help someone.
The student's benefactor gave him money to spend on his studies.
Blacksmith. A blacksmith is a person who makes things out of metal.
The blacksmith pounded the piece of metal until it was flat.
Charitable. When someone is charitable, they help people who are in need.
My sister was charitable enough to help me buy my first house.
Chimney. A chimney is a tall pipe used to carry smoke out of a building.
The cat was on the roof sitting next to the chimney.
Compensate. To compensate is to pay someone for the time they spent doing something.
Her boss compensated her for the extra work she did last week.
Encounter. If you encounter something, you meet or come close to it.
I encountered a sea turtle while I was swimming.
Exceed. To exceed is to be more than something.
Since I exceeded my limit, I decided to get rid of my credit cards.
Forge. To forge is to make or produce, especially with difficulty.
Stacy and Heather forged their friendship when they were teenagers.
Humble. People who are humble do not believe that they are better than other people.
Even though Bob is the smartest boy in his class, he is humble.
Iron. Iron is a strong metal that is used to make many objects.
The horse had shoes made of iron.
Ladder. A ladder is an object that is used to climb up and down things.
He used a ladder to climb to the top of his treehouse.
Modest. If people are modest, they do not think that they are too important.
Derek is very modest for someone who is so rich.
Occupy. To occupy a place is to live, work, or be there.
Kevin and Alice occupied the chairs and had a long discussion.
Penny. A penny is a coin worth 1 cent.
U.S. President Abraham Lincoln is on the penny.
Preach. To preach is to talk about and promote a religious idea.
Aaron often preached about living an honest life.
Prosper. To prosper is to be successful or make a lot of money.
Frank's new business finally prospered after many years of hard work.
Province. A province is a small area that is controlled by a country.
Canada is divided into several different provinces.
Satisfaction. Satisfaction is a feeling you get when you do or receive something good.
Brad was filled with satisfaction when he saw what was for dinner.
Sustain. To sustain something is to keep it going.
Wind power is a clean way to sustain a city with energy.
To acquire something is to gain possession of it.
Tina acquired a strange package yesterday.
Awkward. If something is awkward, it is embarrassing and uncomfortable.
After dropping his coffee cup, Robbie felt awkward.
Caretaker. A caretaker is a person who takes care of very young, old, or sick people.
My grandmother's caretaker helps her get around the house.
Deceive. To deceive someone is to make them believe something that is not true.
He tried to deceive his friends as they were playing a game.
Discourage. To discourage someone is to make them feel less excited about something.
Mr. Perry discouraged the students from quitting school.
Fake. If something is fake, it is made to look real in order to trick people.
The model was wearing fake eyelashes.
Hatred. Hatred is a strong feeling of not liking someone or something.
I have a hatred for the taste of medicine.
Hut. A hut is a house made of wood, grass, or mud that has only 1 or 2 rooms.
We all went into the hut to sleep.
Inferior. If something is inferior, it is not as good as something else.
Cars built 100 years ago are inferior to ones built today.
Lodge. A lodge is a house in the mountains used by people who hunt or fish.
During our ski trip, we stayed at a lodge.
Neglect. To neglect someone or something is to not take care of it properly.
William neglected his room, so it is a complete mess.
Newcomer. A newcomer is a person who has recently arrived at a place or a group.
The students happily welcome the newcomer to the school.
Offense. An offense is behavior that is wrong or breaks a law.
Stealing a car is a very serious offense.
Overlook. To overlook something is to not notice it or to not realize that it is important.
Brenda overlooked the last step and had a bad fall.
Repay. To repay is to pay back or to reward someone or something.
She repaid her friend for all of his hard work with a small gift.
Ridiculous. If something is ridiculous, it is silly or strange.
Steve looked ridiculous with those huge blue sunglasses.
Satisfactory. If something is satisfactory, it is good enough.
Mina often received satisfactory grades since she studied so hard.
Shepherd. A shepherd is a person who protects and cares for sheep.
The shepherd moved the sheep to another field.
Venture. To venture is to go to a place that may be dangerous.
Even though it was dangerous, they ventured up the mountain.
Wheat. Wheat is a plant which makes grain. Wheat grain is used to make bread.
The field of golden wheat was ready to be harvested.
Alley. An alley is a narrow road behind houses or buildings.
The alley behind my house looks dirty.
Axe. An axe is a tool used to cut wood.
She used an axe to cut some wood for the fire.
Bunch. A bunch is a group of the same things.
She was hungry, so she ate the entire bunch of grapes.
Chore. A chore is a job that you have to do but don't like.
It's Nikki's chore to do the dishes every Tuesday and Wednesday night.
Decent. When something is decent, it is okay or good enough.
Eric did a decent job painting the fence.
Disgrace. Disgrace is a feeling of shame.
He felt a sense of disgrace after failing his big exam.
Elbow. The elbow is the middle part of a person's arm that lets you bend it.
She pointed to her elbow to show me where she hurt herself.
Grateful. When you are grateful for something, you are happy that it happened.
The girls were grateful to have a chance to spend time with their grandfather.
Irritate. To irritate means to annoy someone.
She was irritated when her brother told her that he had lost her camera.
Kid. To kid is to make a joke to make someone believe something which is not true.
I'm not really mad. I was kidding when I said I was angry.
Loose. When something is loose, it is not held in place well.
The bolt was loose, so I tightened it with the wrench.
Offend. To offend someone means to make them angry or upset.
They were both offended by what they had said to each other.
Overnight. When something happens overnight, it happens during the night.
The campers stayed in the tent overnight.
Persist. To persist means to keep doing something even when it is hard.
Even though the lesson was difficult, he persisted until he understood.
Pine. A pine is a type of tree that is tall and thin.
There were many beautiful pine trees in the forest.
Scar. A scar is a mark on the skin after a wound heals.
The monster had horrible scars on his cheek and forehead.
Sensation. A sensation is a feeling a person gets from their senses.
Mom got a painful sensation in her head from the loud noise.
Sled. A sled is a small vehicle that you use on snow.
Marvin likes to ride his sled down the hill in winter.
Tease. To tease someone means to laugh at or make fun of them.
Jake teased Charlie because he was the new student.
Valentine. A valentine is someone you love or admire with great affection.
Harry wanted Molly to be his Valentine.
Plant blooms, it makes flowers.
Roses look so pretty when they bloom.
Compact. If something is compact, it is smaller than normal.
A laptop computer is much more compact than a desktop model.
Curl. A curl is a small piece of something with a round shape.
The colorful ribbons were bent into curls.
Decay. To decay is to be destroyed naturally.
The old wooden house was slowly decaying.
Dessert. Dessert is a sweet food that you eat after a meal.
Kayla wants ice cream for dessert.
Dip. To dip something is to put part of it into a liquid for a short time.
Laurel dipped her strawberry into the chocolate.
Distant. If something is distant, it is far away.
Michael could barely see the distant island.
Eclipse. An eclipse is an occasion when the moon moves in front of the sun.
A complete eclipse of the sun is a very rare occurrence.
Fairy. A fairy is a small magic creature with wings.
There are usually fairies in fantasy stories.
Grace. Grace is a quality of moving in a smooth, relaxed, and attractive way.
The ballerina danced with grace.
Leisure. Leisure is time when you do not have to do work.
Eve likes to listen to music in her leisure time.
Mankind. Mankind is all of the world's people.
All of mankind has to work to make this a better world.
Passion. Passion is a very strong feeling of wanting to do something.
She had a passion for dancing.
Pillow. A pillow is something that you put your head on when you sleep.
When I travel, I usually take along my favorite pillow.
Pulse. A pulse is the beat of the heart.
The doctor checked the patient's pulse by feeling his wrist.
Refresh. To refresh someone is to make them feel less hot or tired.
The baby was refreshed after taking a cool bath.
Sneeze. To sneeze is to suddenly blow air out of your nose and mouth.
He sneezed after smelling the flower.
Spice. A spice is a flavor for food and drinks.
Two common spices found in many homes are salt and pepper.
Whistle. To whistle is to make a sound by putting your lips together and blowing.
As he was listening to music, Darryl whistled.
Wool. Wool is the hair that a sheep has.
Grandma wants to use the blue wool to knit me a sweater.
To acquaint is to get to know something or someone.
Nancy acquainted herself with the new computer.
Cemetery. A cemetery is where people are buried when they die.
Some people are scared of cemeteries.
Curse. To curse someone or something is to hope that bad things happen to them.
The witch cursed the village.
Disguise. A disguise is something you wear so people cannot tell who you are.
Everyone knew that it was Dad in the Santa disguise.
Fancy. If something is fancy, it is nicer than normal.
Their table was all set for a fancy dinner.
Flashlight. A flashlight is a small electric light that you carry in your hand.
We took a flashlight when we went camping.
Hood. A hood is part of a coat that goes over your head.
She put on her hood to keep her head warm.
Inhabitant. An inhabitant is a person who lives in a certain place.
The number of inhabitants in the countryside is increasing.
Nourish. To nourish something is to give it food that it needs to live.
A good mother will nourish her baby every day.
Pirate. A pirate is a sailor who steals things from other boats.
Pirates are very scary characters.
Publication. A publication is something printed, like a newspaper or book.
She's been a subscriber to that publication for over 10 years.
Riddle. A riddle is a question that is difficult to answer but meant to be funny.
I could not answer Wendy's riddle, but it made me laugh.
Rot. When something rots, it slowly gets softer and is destroyed.
The old log began to rot in the forest.
Scare. To scare means to cause one to feel frightened.
I was scared by the sight of the monster.
Shortly. If something will happen shortly, it will happen very soon.
My workday will end shortly.
Skeleton. A skeleton is the bones of a body.
There was a skeleton in the science classroom.
Spoil. If something spoils, it turns bad or rots.
We left the fruit out too long and it spoiled.
Starve. If a person starves, they do not get enough to eat and sometimes die.
During the war, many people starved.
Thrill. A thrill is an exciting feeling.
The boys enjoy the thrill of surfing a big wave.
Wicked. If something is wicked, it is very bad or evil.
My boss is a very wicked man.
Unit 6. Word list. Alert. To alert someone is to tell or warn them about something.
The fire alarm alerted us that there was a problem.
Broadcast. A broadcast is a television or radio show.
We watched the broadcast of the local news on TV.
Bulletin. A bulletin is a news report that talks about very recent and important events.
There was a live bulletin reporting on the economy of the city.
Bump. A bump is a small raised area on a surface.
The monkey got a bump on his head because he was hit by a rock.
Chop. To chop something means to cut it into pieces with a tool.
Mom chopped some vegetables to put into the stew.
Closet. A closet is a small room used to store things.
Marie has many clothes inside of her closet.
Console. To console someone who is sad means to make them comforted.
When my dog ran away, my dad consoled me.
District. A district is a small part of a city, county, state, or country.
I live in a residential district of Seattle, Washington.
Drawer. A drawer is a small part in furniture that is used to store things.
I put my clothes into the empty drawers.
Endure. To endure something tough means to do or go through it.
She had to endure her husband shouting all day long.
Execute. To execute someone means to kill them as a legal punishment.
Some people are executed for serious crimes.
Grasp. To grasp something means to hold it.
He grasped the bag of money tightly.
Rear. When something is in the rear of something, it is in the back.
The man loaded the rear of his truck with boxes.
Senator. A senator is someone who makes laws for a state.
The young senator promised to make laws that would help the people.
Skull. A skull is the hard part of your head. Your brain is inside of it.
The brain is protected by the skull.
Stir. To stir something means to mix it using something small like a spoon.
Mom stirred the batter until it was smooth.
Tap. To tap something is to hit it lightly.
He tapped the keys of the keyboard to write a short word.
Tremendous. When something is tremendous, it is very large.
The Earth's oceans are filled with a tremendous amount of water.
Underneath. When something is underneath something else, it is below or lower than it.
The roots of a tree are located underneath the ground.
Worm. A worm is a small animal with a long, thin body.
Worms are often used to help catch fish.
Abandon. To abandon something is to leave it forever or for a long time.
The old room had been abandoned years before.
Ambitious. If someone is ambitious, they want to be rich or successful.
Kendra had to be ambitious to get into medical school.
Bark. When a dog barks, it makes a short, loud noise.
The dog barked loudly and frighteningly.
Bay. A bay is an area near the ocean where the land goes inward.
The Golden Gate Bridge crosses San Francisco Bay.
Brilliant. If someone is brilliant, they are very smart.
My younger sister is brilliant for someone her age.
Chin. Your chin is the hard part at the bottom of your face.
Luke pointed to the hair on his chin.
Complaint. A complaint is something you say to tell people that you don't like something.
Mom said she didn't want to hear my brother's complaints.
Deaf. When someone is deaf, they cannot hear.
Susan was born deaf.
Enthusiastic. To be enthusiastic about something is to be excited by or interested in it.
The man was enthusiastic about his job.
Expedition. An expedition is a long trip, usually to a place very far away.
They got into their spaceship to begin their expedition.
Horizon. The horizon is where the sky looks like it meets the ground.
The sun dipped below the horizon.
Loyal. To be loyal to something or someone is to agree to always help them.
The three friends are very loyal to each other.
Mayor. The mayor is the person in charge of a city.
The mayor of my hometown is quite a powerful speaker.
Mutual. If something is mutual, it is felt in the same way by two or more people.
Robert likes Sarah. The feeling is mutual.
Overweight. If someone is overweight, they are very fat.
Roger eats too much, so now he's overweight.
Refuge. A refuge is a place where you go to be safe.
When it started to rain, she found refuge in the house.
Restore. To restore something is to put it back the way it was.
Victor restored the old car.
Rub. To rub something is to push on it and move your hand back and forth.
Mom's feet were sore, so she rubbed them.
Senses. Your senses are how you see, taste, hear, feel, and smell.
It would be hard to live without your 5 senses.
Veterinarian. A veterinarian is a doctor that takes care of animals.
Wanda became a veterinarian because she loves dogs.
An anniversary is a day that celebrates something from the past.
My parents went out to eat for their wedding anniversary.
Arithmetic. Arithmetic is math.
I like to study arithmetic at school.
Ashamed. To be ashamed is to feel upset because you did something wrong or bad.
He was ashamed when he found out that I knew about his past.
Burst. To burst is to suddenly break open or apart.
The bomb burst over the city.
Carpenter. A carpenter is a person who builds things with wood.
We hired a carpenter to make a cupboard.
Coal. Coal is a hard black rock that you burn for heat.
Many power stations burn coal to produce energy.
Couch. A couch is a long, soft seat that many people can sit on.
Kim and Martin's new couch was very expensive.
Drip. When a liquid drips, just a little bit falls at a time.
I heard water dripping from the faucet.
Elegant. If something is elegant, it is very fancy and pleasing.
In Japan, women wear elegant kimonos on special occasions.
Fabric. Fabric is cloth used to make clothes, furniture, etc.
The towels were made from a soft fabric.
Highlands. The highlands are high areas of land, usually with mountains.
The man had a small home in the highlands.
Ivory. Ivory is a white, hard substance that comes from elephants.
The elephant's long ivory tusks looked very impressive.
Mill. A mill is a building where flour is made.
The farmer took his wheat to the mill to make it into flour.
Needle. A needle is a small, sharp piece of metal that you use to make or fix clothes.
I used a needle to fix the hole in my pants.
Polish. To polish something is to rub it in order to make it shiny.
Mark spent all morning polishing his shoes for the wedding.
Sew. To sew means to put pieces of cloth together using string.
I learned to sew when I was a little girl.
Shed. A shed is a small building where you store things like tools.
We have a small shed in the backyard for storage.
Thread. A thread is a thin piece of string.
I have many different colors of thread at home.
Trim. To trim something is to cut it a little bit.
I had my hair trimmed this afternoon.
Upwards. If something goes upwards, it moves vertically higher.
The kite went upwards further and further.
Ail. To ail a person or group is to cause difficulty or pain.
My brother went to the doctor to see what was ailing him.
Ally. An ally is someone who agrees to help or support you.
I was happy to find many allies who shared the same opinion as me.
Boast. To boast is to talk about how good you are.
We all became tired of listening to him boast about himself all day.
Bounce. To bounce is to move something up and away from a surface after hitting it.
Owen bounced the ball on the ground.
Bully. A bully is a person who is mean to others.
The two bullies always picked on the smaller, weaker kids.
Carbohydrate. Carbohydrates are substances in foods like bread that give you energy.
Carbohydrates like rice are a good source of energy for active people.
Crawl. To crawl is to move slowly on your hands and knees.
The baby crawled across the floor.
Defeat. To defeat someone is to beat them in a game or battle.
The champion defeated the challenger in the boxing match.
Dial. A dial is the front of a clock.
I looked at the dial to see what time it was.
Dominant. When someone or something is dominant, they are stronger than others.
The gorilla is one of the dominant animals in the jungle.
Mercy. If you show mercy, you choose not to punish or harm someone.
He asked his boss for mercy and to not fire him.
Nod. To nod is to move your head up and down.
I nodded my head as I listened to the song.
Opponent. An opponent is someone who fights against you.
On the field, our opponents were too good for us.
Quarrel. To quarrel is to argue or fight.
Billy quarreled with his wife about buying a new house.
Rival. A rival is someone that is trying to keep you from getting what you want.
The three rivals were all competing for the same job.
Sore. When a part of your body is sore, it hurts.
After lifting the heavy box, Mona's back was sore.
Sting. To sting is to cause pain by pushing a sharp part into the skin.
The needle stung my arm and made me say ouch.
Strain. To strain is to try very hard.
Casey strained to lift the heavy box.
Torture. Torture is something that causes you physical or mental pain.
Greg thought that writing the essay was torture.
Wrestle. To wrestle is to play a game where you try to push someone to the floor.
My dad loved to wrestle when he was in high school.
Absence. Absence is the state of something being away.
There is an absence of sand in the hourglass.
Aloud. If you say something aloud, you say it so that others can hear you.
My father often reads stories aloud to me and my sister.
Bald. If someone is bald, they have no hair.
My oldest brother is bald.
Blanket. A blanket is a piece of cloth that you use to keep warm or to sit upon.
I laid a blanket on the ground so that we could have a picnic.
Creep. To creep is to move quietly and slowly.
The cat slowly crept down the tree.
Divorce. Divorce is an event in which a marriage is ended.
Divorce rates have increased in the past 20 years.
Imitate. To imitate someone is to do exactly what they do.
He imitated his favorite superhero by putting on a costume.
Infant. An infant is a baby.
The infant cried all night.
Kidnap. To kidnap someone is to take them illegally.
She was terrified to find out her son was kidnapped.
Nap. A nap is a short sleep, usually during the day.
I took a short nap because I stayed up late last night.
Nowhere. You use nowhere to say that a place or thing does not exist.
Unfortunately, water was nowhere to be found.
Pat. To pat something is to hit it softly with your hand.
I patted some lotion onto my face.
Relief. Relief is a feeling you get when something bad or challenging ends.
I felt a sense of relief when I heard the good news.
Reproduce. To reproduce is to make something exactly how someone else did it.
The children tried to reproduce their house using toy blocks.
Rhyme. To rhyme is to have the same sounds at the end of a word.
Humpty Dumpty is an old rhyme that children learn in school.
Suck. To suck is to put something in your mouth and try to get flavor out of it.
The baby sucked milk from her bottle.
Urgent. If something is urgent, it is important and needs to be done now.
He had to leave now. It was urgent.
Vanish. To vanish is to go away suddenly.
All the passengers vanished from the train station.
Wagon. A wagon is a cart you use to carry heavy things.
He used his wagon to carry some of his gifts.
Wrinkle. A wrinkle is a line on a person's face that happens as they get old.
My grandfather has some wrinkles on his face.
If something is abnormal, it is strange or not normal.
Her idea of art is a bit too abnormal for me.
Bamboo. Bamboo is a hard plant with thin branches and leaves.
Outside his home, there's a lot of bamboo.
Blossom. A blossom is a flower or group of flowers.
There were colorful blossoms in the yard.
Compass. A compass is a device used to tell what direction one is going.
A compass is an important tool to have when you are traveling.
Dialect. A dialect is a regional variety of language showing where you are from.
People from the UK have a different dialect of English from those in the US.
Dishonest. If someone is dishonest, they do not tell the truth.
She was being dishonest when she copied the answers from his test.
Dwarf. A dwarf is a creature from stories that often looks like a short, hairy man.
The dwarf had a pleasant look on his face.
Ecosystem. An ecosystem is a group of plants and animals in an area.
The river's ecosystem not only includes fish, but other insects and plants too.
Fatal. If something is fatal, it causes death.
They passed away in a fatal car crash.
Impatient. If someone is impatient, they are not able to wait for things.
Bob was so impatient that he could barely wait for the light to turn green.
Leaf. A leaf is the flat green thing on trees or bushes.
In the fall, the leaves on the trees change colors.
Manuscript. A manuscript is an old book or paper written by hand.
The manuscript was written over 150 years ago.
Marsh. A marsh is a type of wet land covered with grasses and short plants.
The marsh looked so lovely against the mountains.
Patience. Patience is the ability to wait for something without becoming upset.
Sue's patience was rewarded by catching her very first fish.
Perfume. Perfume is a good-smelling liquid that girls wear.
When she wore her perfume, everyone said she smelled great.
Pond. A pond is a very small area of water.
The ducks swam in the pond.
Proverb. A proverb is a short saying that tells you something important.
The proverb, egg on your face, means you've done something embarrassing.
Pursuit. A pursuit is a chase.
The dinosaur was in pursuit of the caveman.
Recite. To recite something means to repeat or say aloud in front of a group.
Katie recited the Pledge of Allegiance in class.
Wilderness. A wilderness is an area where no people live.
If you are not careful, you can get lost in the wilderness.
Anticipate. To anticipate something is to think that it will happen.
Carrie anticipated the arrival of her baby.
Barrel. A barrel is a round thing that you can keep liquids in.
There was an empty barrel outside the house.
Beam. A beam is a heavy bar.
Modern skyscrapers are made with several beams.
Casual. If something is casual, it is relaxed or simple.
You can wear casual clothes to the party like jeans.
Caution. Caution is care and attention in order to avoid danger.
Please use the power saw with caution. It is very dangerous.
Contrary. If something is contrary to something else, it is the opposite.
It isn't warm outside at all. On the contrary, it is quite cold.
Deliberate. If you are deliberate, you do something on purpose.
Bernie made a deliberate attempt to injure Andy.
Dissolve. To dissolve something is to mix it into a liquid and disappear.
I dissolved the pill in a glass of water.
Explode. When something explodes, it blows up.
My new radio exploded when I plugged it in.
Fasten. To fasten something is to close it or put it in the correct place.
Elizabeth fastened her seatbelt.
Germ. A germ is something that makes you sick.
Germs are on everything that you touch.
Kit. A kit is a set of all the things needed to do something.
Is there a first aid kit in your office?
Puff. A puff is a little bit of smoke or steam.
A puff of smoke came from the burnt match.
Rag. A rag is a small towel.
Please use a rag to clean the dust off the table.
Scatter. To scatter something is to make it go in many places.
I accidentally scattered all of my pills.
Scent. A scent is a smell.
Julie enjoyed the scent of the flowers.
Steel. Steel is a shiny gray metal.
The new apartment building was made with steel.
Swift. If something is swift, it is fast.
The swift horse easily jumped over the hurdle.
Toss. If you toss something, you throw it softly.
He tossed a coin into the air.
Triumph. Triumph is what you feel when you win or finish something.
He raised the award in triumph at the end of his speech. The ice cream
On or in it.
They climbed aboard the kayak and paddled through the river.
Bitter. When a person is bitter, they are upset with someone or a situation.
He was extremely bitter when his computer crashed.
Bullet. A bullet is a small metal object that is shot out of guns.
Bullets come in different sizes for different guns.
Devil. The devil is a powerful evil spirit in some religions.
The church promised protection from the devil.
Drift. To drift means to be moved slowly by wind or water.
The large chunk of ice drifted in the water.
Enforce. To enforce means to make a person follow a rule.
Police enforce traffic laws to keep everyone safe.
Fountain. A fountain is a source of water made by people.
There was a beautiful fountain in the middle of the park.
Harbor. A harbor is an area of water along a shore where boats land.
There were a few small boats in the harbor.
Inhabit. To inhabit means to live in a certain place.
No one inhabits the ancient city.
March. To march means to walk at a steady pace together with others.
The soldiers marched in straight rows.
Millionaire. A millionaire is a person who has at least $1 million.
He became a millionaire because he was smart with his money.
Port. A port is a place where ships stop to load and unload things.
The ship was being loaded with materials at the port.
Sheriff. A sheriff is a police officer who is in charge of a large area.
It was the sheriff's job to make the city safe.
Startle. To startle means to scare someone suddenly.
The loud crash startled the sleeping woman.
Sweat. To sweat means to lose liquid from the body through the skin.
Whenever I work out, I sweat quite a bit.
Trigger. A trigger is the part of the gun that a person pulls to make it fire.
The man had his finger on the trigger of the gun.
Unify. To unify means to bring people or things together.
With their good deeds, the children tried to unify the world.
Vessel. A vessel is a large ship or boat.
We toured the area aboard a luxury vessel.
Voyage. A voyage is a long journey made on a boat or an aircraft.
The astronauts took off on a long voyage to the moon.
Worship. To worship means to like and honor a person, thing, or religious figure.
Many people around the world worship in a church.
This is a person who learns how to do a job from a skilled person.
Mark is an apprentice chef at the restaurant.
Assure. To assure someone is to tell them something is true to make them less worried.
He assured the boss that the building would be done on time.
Bandage. A bandage is a piece of cloth used to stop bleeding.
If you cut yourself, please get a bandage from the first aid kit.
Bleed. To bleed is to lose blood.
If you are not careful, you will cut your finger and bleed.
Bond. To bond with someone is to become friends with them.
The women bonded after several hours of conversation.
Chef. A chef is a person who cooks in a restaurant.
Tom is a chef at the restaurant near my house.
Crown. A crown is the hat worn by a king or queen.
The crown is made of gold.
Departure. A departure is the act of leaving a place.
They were excited about their departure back home.
Diligent. If someone is diligent, they work hard and are careful.
Craig has always been a very diligent person at work.
Emperor. An emperor is the leader of a group of countries.
The Emperor Julius Caesar was in control of ancient Rome.
Fiber. Fiber is a thread of a substance used to make clothes or rope.
The mat was made from tiny fibers.
Horrible. If something is horrible, it is very bad.
The assignment was horrible. I hated it.
Impolite. If someone is impolite, they are rude.
Roger is impolite to everyone he meets.
Kneel. To kneel is to put one or both knees on the ground.
Daryl got down on one knee and asked Nina to marry him.
Luxury. A luxury is an expensive thing that you do not need.
We stayed at a luxury resort for our honeymoon.
Massive. If something is massive, it is very big.
The wheels on his truck were massive.
Panic. To panic is to feel so nervous or afraid that you cannot think clearly.
Everyone panicked when the house caught on fire.
Priority. A priority is something that is more important than other things.
My priority is to get good grades in school.
Robe. A robe is a long, loose piece of clothing.
Many people wear robes in the morning.
Scold. To scold means to criticize one angrily because they have done wrong.
Jessie was scolded by the teacher for not paying attention. My wife and I attended a formal affair over the weekend.
Assembly. An assembly is a group that is together for the same reason.
The students had an assembly to talk about their interests.
Bless. To bless is to ask God for protection or help.
The angel blessed the newborn baby to keep it safe.
Cereal. Cereal is a food that you mix with milk and eat for breakfast.
Cereal is a fast and common breakfast food enjoyed in the U.S.
Cheerful. If someone is cheerful, they are happy or feel good.
The children were cheerful because they didn't have to go to school.
Diameter. The diameter of a round thing is the length across its center.
The diameter of the tree was about 22 centimeters.
Exploit. To exploit something is to use it for greedy reasons rather than good reasons.
The company exploits their workers and makes them stay 12 hours a day.
Famine. A famine is a long time with little or no food.
The farmers couldn't grow any food on the dry soil, so there was a famine.
Harvest. A harvest is the act of collecting food from farming.
They had a lot of wheat from the last harvest.
Merry. If someone is merry, they are very happy.
They felt merry because the weather was great.
Nut. A nut is a hard seed or fruit that comes from some trees and bushes.
To eat a nut, first you have to crack its shell.
Pardon. To pardon is a way to ask someone to repeat what was said before.
Pardon me, teacher, but could you repeat what you just said?
Pharaoh. A pharaoh was a king in ancient Egypt.
The pharaohs ruled Egypt for thousands of years.
Ripe. When a fruit is ripe, it is ready to be eaten.
The cherries were nice and ripe.
Roast. To roast something is to cook it in an oven or over a fire.
Mom roasted a turkey for the holiday dinner.
Routine. A routine is a way of doing things that is the same every time.
My father's daily routine includes shaving right before breakfast.
Scheme. A scheme is a plan or design.
Mickey and Minnie came up with a scheme to solve the problem.
Slim. If something or someone is slim, they are thin.
Look at my new cell phone. It's very slim.
Stove. A stove is a device used to cook food.
Our new stove helps us to cook food much faster than before.
Theft. A theft is a criminal act that involves someone stealing something.
The theft of his TV took place when he was at work.
Why monkey has no person or a teenager?
The adolescent was excited about getting a skateboard for his birthday.
Aptitude. Aptitude is a natural ability or skill.
He has a natural aptitude for water skiing.
Compliment. To compliment is to say a nice thing about someone or something.
Her coworker complimented her for doing a good job.
Hinder. To hinder is to keep someone or something from doing something.
All the traffic hindered me from getting to work on time.
Journalism. Journalism is the work of collecting the news to put in newspapers or on TV.
Before becoming a teacher, she worked in journalism.
Jury. A jury is a group of people that listen to a trial and say if someone is guilty.
The jury listened closely to the attorney before they made their decision.
Justice. Justice is fairness in the way that you treat other people.
People turn to the court system when they are seeking justice.
Liberty. Liberty is freedom to do what you want.
To many people, the Statue of Liberty is a symbol of freedom.
Literary. If someone or something is literary, it is involved with literature in some way.
He worked hard to create a successful literary career.
Pharmacy. A pharmacy is a place where medicine is sold.
My mother sells medicine to people at the pharmacy.
Pill. A pill is a small object that has medicine inside.
She took a pill for her headache.
Presume. To presume is to believe something is true without being certain.
Since he raised his hand, the teacher presumed he knew the answer.
Privacy. To have privacy is to be away from other people.
Please hang the sign on the door so we can have some privacy.
Punishment. A punishment is something that one must endure for any wrongdoing.
He was given a punishment for being rude to the teacher.
Sensible. If someone is sensible, they make good decisions.
It was sensible for her to save some money each month.
Slice. A slice is a piece from something larger, such as a cake.
The girl enjoyed a slice of cake at her birthday party.
Sorrow. Sorrow is a very sad feeling.
The girl felt sorrow after her best friend moved away.
Straw. A straw is a thin tube that is used to suck liquid into the mouth.
I drank the orange juice through a straw.
Swell. To swell is to become larger and rounder.
My sister's stomach began to swell after she got pregnant.
Tidy. When something is tidy, it is clean and in order.
Leon has always been a very tidy boy.
Is a feeling of liking someone or something.
Amanda has a lot of affection for her little sister Sarah.
Agency. An agency is a business or service set up to act for others.
I went to a travel agency to help me arrange a flight home.
Ash. Ash is the gray or black powder created when something is burned.
The end of his cigar was full of ashes.
Confine. To confine something is to keep it in one place.
The elephant is confined to a cage in the zoo.
Dismiss. To dismiss something is to say it is not important.
He quickly dismissed my idea about a new project.
Erupt. To erupt is for a volcano or something to shoot a hot substance.
The volcano erupted for the first time in 10 years.
Faint. Fate is a power that causes some things to happen.
Some people believe that a person's hand can tell their fate.
Lava. Lava is the hot substance made of melted rock that shoots from volcanoes.
The red-hot lava poured from the volcano.
Miserable. If someone is miserable, they are very unhappy.
He was miserable after his dog died.
Navigate. To navigate something is to control the way it moves or goes.
She navigated the ship across the ocean.
Originate. To originate somewhere is to start there.
The idea of democracy originated in ancient Greece.
Remainder. The remainder of something is what is left.
He took a bite of the apple, then gave me the remainder of it.
Retrieve. To retrieve something is to find it and get it back.
She retrieved her mail from the mailbox.
Shallow. If something is shallow, it is not deep.
The kids were playing in the shallow water.
Slope. A slope is ground that is not flat.
The slope to the top of the mountain was very steep.
Span. To span a length of time is to last that long.
His work began in 1999. It has spanned many years since then.
Superstition. A superstition is something magical that people believe is real.
It is a superstition that Friday the 13th is an unlucky day.
Sympathy. Sympathy is a feeling of being sad for another person.
I felt sympathy for my sister, so I got her a balloon to cheer her up.
Vibrate. To vibrate is to shake very hard.
The machine made his whole body vibrate as he broke up the ground.
Wander. To wander is to walk without going to a certain place.
The boys liked to wander in the woods and look at birds.
By soldiers to protect the body.
The soldier wore armor to protect his body.
Blaze. To blaze means to burn brightly or powerfully.
The small fire soon blazed into a large, dangerous one.
Boom. To boom means to make a loud, deep sound.
The firecrackers made a loud boom when they exploded.
Cliff. A cliff is a high and often flat wall of rock.
The wolf stood at the cliff and howled.
Flame. A flame is part of fire.
The torch was filled with yellow and orange flames.
Independence. Independence is the state of being free from the control of others.
After leaving home, Sophia had a great feeling of independence.
Invasion. An invasion is an attack by a group from another country.
In Korea, walls were built around cities to protect them from invasions.
Knight. A knight is a soldier of high rank and skill who usually serves a king.
He was the best soldier, so the king made him a knight.
Lightning. Lightning is the bright light seen during a storm.
The lightning flashed above the water.
Rebel. A rebel is a person who fights the government in order to change it.
The rebel had enough of the government's unfair policy.
Retreat. To retreat means to run away because you have been beaten in a fight.
The army retreated because they were losing the battle.
Revolution. A revolution is a change to the political system by a group of people.
The revolution in Russia led to the creation of the Soviet Union.
Spear. A spear is a long stick with a blade on one end that is used as a weapon.
The soldier was holding a spear in his hand.
Steep. If something is steep, then its slope or angle rises or falls sharply.
He rode his bike up the steep hill to reach the top.
Summit. A summit is the highest part of a hill or mountain.
Snow covered the summit of the mountain even during the summer.
Thunder. Thunder is the loud noise heard during a storm.
The sound of the thunder startled me.
Troops. Troops are soldiers that fight in groups in a battle.
The troops were all prepared to go into battle.
Warrior. A warrior is a brave soldier or fighter.
The samurai were some of the most skilled warriors in the ancient world.
Withdraw. To withdraw means to leave a place, usually during war.
After losing the battle, the enemy withdrew back to its own country.
Yield. To yield something means to give up control of it or to give it away.
He had to yield his turn because he was in checkmate.
A bench is a long seat for two or more people.
Most parks have benches for citizens to relax upon.
Confront. To confront a hard situation or person is to deal with it.
The couple has to confront each other about their problems.
Daisy. A daisy is a small flower with white petals and a yellow center.
There were a few daisies growing in the field.
Dispute. A dispute is an argument or disagreement that people have.
Karen and Brian often have disputes about silly things.
Horror. Horror is a feeling of being very afraid or shocked.
The audience screamed in horror when the ghost appeared in the movie.
Incident. An incident is an event that is usually not pleasant.
Mr. Wilson had an incident where he became sick and had to leave.
Mist. Mist is water that you can see in the air or on a surface.
The forest was covered with mist.
Object. An object is an inanimate thing that you can see or touch.
The shopping cart was filled with objects.
Orphan. An orphan is a child who does not have parents.
The orphan frequently cried during the night.
Plot. To plot is to make a secret plan to do something that is wrong or mean.
The group was plotting to ruin the company's financial reports.
Pregnant. When a female is pregnant, she is going to have a baby.
The pregnant woman was shopping for baby clothes.
Rage. Rage is a very angry feeling.
The chef was filled with rage when his helpers ruined the meal.
Revenge. Revenge is what you do to hurt or punish someone who hurts you.
He broke his sister's doll as revenge after she lost his favorite book.
Shame. Shame is a bad feeling about things you have done wrong.
The boy felt shame about misplacing his clothes.
Sigh. To sigh is to breathe out loudly and show that you are tired or sad.
Molly sighed when she looked at all the information she had to research.
Sneak. To sneak is to move quietly so that no one hears or sees you.
The thief snuck out of the house without anyone noticing him.
Spare. To spare something is to give it because you have more than you need.
I wanted to help him, but I couldn't spare a tire.
Stem. The stem of a plant is the stick that grows leaves or flowers.
The rose had a long, thin stem.
Supper. Supper is a meal that is eaten in the evening.
We usually have supper around 6 o'clock at my house.
Tender. When something is tender, it is soft and easy to chew.
The meat was so tender they didn't need knives to cut it with.
Something else, it is under it.
The largest part of an iceberg lies beneath the waterline.
Cub. A cub is a baby animal, such as a bear or lion.
The lion cub was crying for its mother.
Dawn. Dawn is the time of day when the sun rises.
At dawn, the sun gently rose over the farm.
Dissatisfied. If you are dissatisfied, you are not happy with something.
I was dissatisfied with their decision to work on Sunday.
Ease. When something is done with ease, it is not hard to do.
The monkey climbed the tree with ease.
Evident. When something is evident, it is easy to see or understand.
It was evident from the look on his face that he was unhappy.
Hail. Hail is ice that falls from the sky when rain freezes.
The hail from the storm was the size of golf balls.
Howl. To howl means to make a long, loud sound like a wolf or a dog.
The wolf howled at the moon.
Leap. To leap means to jump a long distance.
He had to leap over the gap to reach the other side of the hill.
Magnificent. When something is magnificent, it is beautiful and grand.
The man gave his wife a pair of magnificent diamond earrings.
Necessity. A necessity is something that is needed.
Fresh water is a necessity for life.
Outcome. An outcome is the end of an action or event.
The outcome of his latest business plan was a complete failure.
Pile. A pile is a large group of things on top of one another.
The pile of cups was beginning to tilt.
Profound. When something is profound, it is very intelligent.
For a little boy, Jeremy has some profound thoughts.
Seize. To seize something means to grab it quickly or strongly.
The man seized as much money as he could before anyone could see him.
Squeeze. To squeeze something means to press it together and hold it tightly.
When Clara saw her cat, she gave it a big squeeze.
Supreme. When something is supreme, it is the highest or best.
The supreme officer was in charge of keeping the citizens calm.
Terrific. When something is terrific, it is very good.
My youngest daughter is a terrific painter.
Trait. A trait is part of someone's personality.
One trait of Salvador's personality is his cheerfulness.
Vital. When something is vital, it is necessary for life.
The heart is a vital organ. Little Wolf and Mother.
To something, you are in the habit of it.
Grandfather is accustomed to reading the newspaper every morning.
Affirm. To affirm is to say that something is true.
Using a graph, Malcolm affirmed the success of the company.
Astonished. If someone is astonished, they are very surprised or shocked.
I was astonished when he pulled the live rabbit out of his hat.
Bang. To bang is to hit something to make a noise.
The drummer banged on his drum as he marched in the parade.
Clan. A clan is a group of relatives or friends.
The Lead clan meets every year to celebrate the New Year.
Dim. When something is dim, it does not give out much light.
Working in a dim room is bad for your eyes.
Emphasis. Emphasis is special attention or importance.
The students put special emphasis on Chapter 4 because it will be on the test.
Fable. A fable is a short story that teaches a lesson.
In the fable about the tortoise and the hare, the lesson is consistency.
Feast. A feast is a large meal for many people.
At Thanksgiving, I enjoy a wonderful feast with my family.
Glow. To glow is to make a soft light.
The small flame glowed softly.
Hollow. When something is hollow, it has an empty space inside.
Straws are hollow, so liquid can flow through them.
Instinct. Instinct is the natural way that people behave without thinking about it.
Cats hunt mice because of instinct.
Joint. A joint is a place of the body where the bones meet, such as the knee.
Two important bones in your leg meet at a joint in your knee.
Leak. To leak is to let a liquid or gas pass through a flaw.
The pipe leaks from many places.
Physician. A physician is a doctor.
The physician said I would feel better if I took my medicine.
Sacrifice. To sacrifice something valuable is to give it up to get something else.
Her parents sacrificed a lot of money in order for her to go to college.
Stiff. When something is stiff, it is hard to move.
The bird was standing on the tree's stiff branch.
Stroke. To stroke is to move a hand over something or someone.
She stroked her cheek to see if there was something on it.
Tragic. When something is tragic, it is connected with death and suffering.
The airplane crashed in a tragic accident.
Tune. A tune is a song.
The students played a familiar tune for the audience.
The old man with a bump.
The room can accommodate 9 people.
Circus. A circus is a traveling show with animals and people.
I like to go to the circus to see the animals do tricks.
Coincide. If two things coincide, they happen at the same time.
My birthday coincides with Christmas.
Commission. To commission someone to do something is to pay them to do it.
The artist was commissioned to create a picture.
Dose. A dose is a certain amount of medicine that you take at one time.
My mother gave me a dose of medicine before I went to bed.
Dye. To dye something is to make it a certain color by using a special chemical.
Valerie got her hair dyed at the salon yesterday.
Extent. The extent of something is how large, important, or serious it is.
He ate to such an extent that he became overweight.
Gender. Gender is a category that describes being either a boy or a girl.
Do you know the gender of her new baby?
Headline. A headline is the title of a newspaper story.
The headline on the front page was about the economy.
Informal. When something is informal, it is not official.
They had an informal meeting to talk about their experiences.
Inquire. To inquire about something is to ask about it.
Dad called to inquire about the price of tickets for the show.
Messenger. A messenger is one who carries information from one place to another.
The messenger delivered an important document to the office.
Peer. To peer at something is to watch it carefully.
She peered at people through the window.
Portrait. A portrait is a painting or photograph of someone.
I saw many religious portraits when I went to the museum.
Pose. To pose is to stay in one place without moving.
The kids and their dog posed for a picture.
Ranch. A ranch is a large farm where animals are kept.
My uncle has many horses on his ranch.
Steer. To steer something is to control where it goes.
He steered the go-kart around the track.
Stripe. A stripe is a thick line.
The flag of the United States has red and white stripes.
Tame. When an animal is tame, it is not afraid to be near people.
The tame bird rested on his hand.
Tempt. To tempt people is to offer them something they want but shouldn't have.
I wasn't hungry, but she tempted me with a piece of my favorite cake. The circus. Ben was
Of Australia before Europeans lived there.
The Aborigines created beautiful artwork.
Ban. To ban something is to not let people do it.
Smoking is banned in this building.
Cautious. If you are cautious, you are careful in a dangerous situation.
Be very cautious as you stack those boxes.
Confess. To confess something is to say that you did it.
He confessed that he was responsible for choosing the winning story.
Cottage. A cottage is a small old house in the countryside.
My aunt lives in a pretty cottage in the mountains.
Daytime. Daytime is the time of the day when the sky is light.
I only allowed my kids to play outside in the daytime.
Desperate. If you are desperate, you will try anything to do or change something.
I'm desperate to find a new job.
Fade. If something fades, it gets quieter or darker.
The piece of cloth I found was old and faded.
Fierce. If a person or animal is fierce, they are angry or violent.
Wolves are fierce animals. Do not disturb them.
Gamble. To gamble means to play a game that involves winning or losing money.
Many people like to go to casinos to gamble.
Lawn. A lawn is an area covered in grass.
My dad keeps the lawn in front of our house very neat.
Mow. To mow grass is to cut it to make it very short.
I mow our lawn every weekend.
Outlaw. An outlaw is a criminal who hides from the police.
The police passed out posters of the outlaw to all the people.
Prospect. A prospect is a possibility that something will happen.
He wakes up every morning with the prospect of having a good day.
Purse. A purse is a bag where women keep money, makeup, and keys.
My sister likes to buy designer purses.
Rod. A rod is a thin stick made of wood or metal.
I bought a new fishing rod to use while on vacation.
Seldom. If something seldom happens, it doesn't happen very often.
It seldom rains in southern Arizona.
Shave. To shave means to cut the hairs on your face with a sharp tool.
My father shaves his face every day because he doesn't want a beard.
Terrified. If you are terrified, you are extremely scared.
When I saw the ghost, I was absolutely terrified.
Wizard. A wizard is a man who can do magic.
The wizard made gold fall from the sky.
The set of bags that people take with them when they travel.
I'm taking several pieces of baggage with me on vacation.
Bulb. A bulb is the glass part of an electric light.
I had to change the light bulb in my bedroom.
Bundle. A bundle is a number of things that are tied together.
I was shocked when he showed me a bundle of money.
Cattle. Cattle are cows and bulls, especially on a farm.
The rancher's cattle were eating the grass in the field.
Flee. To flee means to run away from trouble or danger.
The crowd of men tried to flee from the danger.
Graze. To graze means to eat grass.
The cows grazed in the field.
Greed. Greed is a desire to have more than the things that you need.
She ate all the cookies out of her greed.
Herd. A herd is a large group of the same type of animals that live together.
The herd of cows moved slowly across the ranch.
Initiate. To initiate something means to start it.
You have to turn the switch on to initiate the computer system.
Lane. A lane is a small road.
The lane passes directly in front of our house.
Nerve. Nerve is bravery, or the belief that you can do something.
He has the nerve to think that he can actually wrestle with a lion.
Optimist. An optimist is somebody who sees the good parts of a situation.
Even though he has physical problems, my brother is an optimist.
Parade. A parade is a celebration when groups of people walk in the same direction.
There were many marching bands in the spring parade.
Pave. To pave the ground is to lay material on it to make it easier to walk or drive on.
The path was paved with yellow bricks.
Phantom. A phantom is a ghost or spirit.
A scary phantom appeared from out of the darkness.
Portable. Something that is portable is able to be moved or carried easily.
Since computers are portable, people can use them anywhere.
Poster. A poster is a written announcement that is used to advertise something.
I saw a poster about a free concert in the park.
Scratch. To scratch is to make small cuts with a claw or fingernail.
I used a stick to scratch my back.
Symphony. A symphony is a long piece of music performed by many musicians.
Alex, a violin player, has always dreamt of playing a symphony.
Widow. A widow is a woman whose husband has died.
The widow had no children and was very lonely. The
Something is to spread it quickly.
The fan helped to circulate cool air through the room.
Consequent. Consequent means happening because of a different situation.
Her consequent rash came after she touched the poison ivy.
Derive. To derive something from another source means to get it from that thing.
Red's nickname was derived from the color of her hair.
Drown. To drown is to die from not being able to breathe underwater.
He would have drowned if the sailors would not have rescued him.
Dynasty. A dynasty is a series of rulers who are all from the same family.
The ancient Egyptians had a dynasty that lasted for many years.
Fraction. A fraction is a small part of something.
Only a fraction of the cake was gone.
Frost. Frost is a white layer of ice that forms during very cold weather.
In the morning, The trees were all covered with frost.
Illusion. An illusion is something that looks real but doesn't actually exist.
Some pictures create an illusion for the eyes.
Invade. To invade is to take over a place by force.
The enemy forces tried to invade our country through the air.
Lieutenant. A lieutenant is a rank in the military or police, or a person with that rank.
The lieutenant was a good leader, and his soldiers respected him.
Marine. The word marine describes something related to the sea.
A healthy ocean is full of marine animals.
Merit. The merit of something or someone is their good qualities.
The actor received an award for his merits in the movie.
Navy. A navy is the part of a country's military that fights at sea.
My country is known for our strong navy.
Polar. Polar relates to the cold places on Earth's north and south ends.
Only a few people live in the Earth's northern polar region.
Ray. A ray is a line of light that comes from a bright object.
The sun's warm rays covered the beach.
Resign. To resign means to quit a job.
After I officially resigned from work, I said goodbye to my boss.
Suicide. Suicide is the act of killing oneself.
Some people feel so sad that they think suicide is the only answer.
Tremble. To tremble is to shake as a result of cold weather.
Harry was not used to the cold, so he trembled most of the day.
Underlying. When something is underlying, it is a hidden cause of something else.
Her underlying fear of flying reduced her traveling options.
Via. To travel via something means to travel through or using something.
We arrived in the city from the airport via the train. Nails to match my hair.
Aside. If someone stands aside, they are on or to one side.
The man stood aside and opened the door for me.
Autumn. Autumn is the season of the year between summer and winter.
I love when the leaves fall in autumn because I can play in them.
Blend. To blend is to mix two or more things together so that they become one thing.
My wife blended together all of the ingredients to make a delicious stew.
Collapse. To collapse is to fall down suddenly.
The tree collapsed right in front of our house.
Crush. To crush something is to press it together so its shape is destroyed.
Selena's new car was crushed when something fell on top of it.
Curve. To curve is to move in a line that bends and does not go straight.
The road curves to the left and to the right.
Disgusting. If something is disgusting, it is very unpleasant.
After running all day, Greg's feet had a disgusting odor.
Drain. A drain is a pipe that carries away water from a building, such as in a kitchen.
The water in the sink goes down the drain as you wash your hands.
Embrace. To embrace is to hug.
When they saw each other again, the happy couple embraced.
Envy. To envy someone is to wish that you had something that they have.
Sally envied the happy couple.
Fireworks. Fireworks are objects that create colored lights when they are lit.
The display of fireworks was so beautiful.
Flour. Flour is a powder made from plants that is used to make foods like bread.
I wanted to bake a pie, but I needed flour.
Fuse. A fuse is a string that you light on fireworks to make them explode.
The boy lit the fuse on the rocket and waited for it to burst in the sky.
Ginger. Ginger is a spice from the root of a plant. It tastes spicy and sweet.
Ginger is a common ingredient in many dishes from India.
Jealous. If you are jealous, you think someone might take something from you.
Miriam was jealous because Sue was paying too much attention to Jim.
Paste. A paste is a thick and smooth substance.
My son needed some paste for a school project.
Receipt. A receipt is a paper that proves that something was received or bought.
After looking at my receipt, I realized that I had spent too much money.
Wipe. To wipe something is to slide a piece of cloth over it to clean it.
She wiped the dust from the windows.
Wire. A wire is a thin string made out of metal.
The wires were connected to towers that brought electricity to the city.
True or that it exists.
The teacher acknowledged that the young student was hungry.
Ambassador. An ambassador is a government worker who works in another country.
The ambassador from Korea was in charge of the conference.
Blonde. If someone is a blonde, they have light-colored hair.
My cousin is different from me. She is a blonde with blue eyes.
Conquer. To conquer a country means to attack and take control of it.
The soldiers were trying to conquer the world.
Drag. To drag something means to pull it across the ground.
The dog was dragging his owner down the street.
Exaggerate. To exaggerate is to say that something is bigger or better than it really is.
Jimmy wasn't exaggerating about the seriousness of his injury.
Heritage. Heritage is the collection of features of a society, such as language and religion.
Teepees are part of the heritage of the American Indians of the Plains.
Insult. To insult someone is to say things that will hurt their feelings.
The girls insulted each other all afternoon.
Meanwhile. Meanwhile means until something happens or while something is happening.
He wants to be a doctor in the future, but meanwhile, he works a regular job.
Necklace. A necklace is a piece of jewelry that people wear around their necks.
Joyce received a lovely pearl necklace for her wedding anniversary.
Noble. A noble is a rich and powerful person.
The queen invited a noble from a nearby country to dinner.
Precious. When something is precious, it is valuable and important.
In a desert, water can be more precious than money.
Prejudice. A prejudice is an unfair opinion about someone before you get to know them.
The company's rules against gender prejudice must be enforced.
Rumor. A rumor is a story that may not be true.
Carla was spreading rumors around the office.
Sin. A sin is something that is wrong for religious reasons.
Taking something that doesn't belong to you is a sin.
Spectacle. A spectacle is an amazing sight.
Niagara Falls is quite a spectacle.
Stack. A stack is a pile of different things.
There was a stack of paperwork on his desk to complete.
Suspicious. If someone is suspicious of someone else, they do not trust that person.
Dad was suspicious of the caller on the line.
Tin. Tin is a cheap white metal.
Soup is a common food that is often sold in tin cans.
Vase. A vase is an attractive container where people keep flowers.
The vase was filled with such lovely flowers.
Pizarro and the Inca gold.
Mindy's head ached because she bumped it against the wall.
Arctic. If something is Arctic, it is from far north near the North Pole.
It is cold when the Arctic winds blow.
Canal. A canal is a path for water to travel through.
The city of Venice, Italy has many canals.
Chemist. A chemist is a scientist who works with chemicals.
My mother is a successful chemist who helps invent new products.
Chill. A chill is a feeling of cold.
The chill from the cold wind made Bill shiver.
Congress. Congress is a group of leaders in a government.
Congress makes laws for people to follow.
Dairy. If something is dairy, it is made from milk.
Things like milk and cheese are dairy foods.
Descend. To descend is to go downward.
I descended the stairs to get out of the building.
Grocer. A grocer is a person who sells food.
Our grocer, Mr. Smith, is a very kind man.
Hesitate. To hesitate is to wait for a short time before doing something.
He hesitated for a moment before he decided which choice to make.
Institution. An institution is an organization that works to help a city or group of people.
Banks are vital institutions that businesses and people use every day.
Jog. To jog is to run slowly.
He jogs every day so he can be healthier.
Merchant. A merchant is a person who sells things.
The merchant was selling used cars.
Poke. To poke something is to push it with your finger.
I poked my finger on a thumbtack.
Postpone. To postpone something is to make it happen later than planned.
They postponed the meeting until Elena arrived.
Splash. When a liquid splashes, it bursts and hits something.
Some green paint splashed upon the floor.
Stubborn. If people are stubborn, they don't change their minds easily.
Both of my parents are stubborn. They never give in to each other.
Suburb. A suburb is a small part of a large city.
I grew up in the suburbs only a few minutes outside of the city.
Tide. The tide is the level of the water in the sea.
The tide continued to crawl upon the beach little by little.
Tragedy. A tragedy is a very sad event.
It was a tragedy when his house was struck by lightning and burned.
Is an object that explodes and destroys large areas.
The bomb will destroy anything that is near.
Certificate. A certificate is a document that says that something is true or happened.
I was given a certificate after completing the computer course.
Circumstance. A circumstance is an event that makes a situation what it is.
There were many circumstances behind their success, like hard work.
Coffin. A coffin is a box used to bury dead people.
When a person passes away, they are usually buried inside of a coffin.
Cope. To cope with a difficult or stressful situation means to deal with it.
He copes with work stress by exercising 3 or 4 times a week.
Criticism. Criticism is the act of saying that you don't like or approve of something.
She had a lot of criticism about their new plan.
Devastate. To devastate something means to completely destroy it.
The entire wall was devastated.
Frown. To frown is to make an unhappy look with your face.
Melissa frowned when she found out that the party had been canceled.
Gaze. To gaze at something means to look at it for a long time.
We used a telescope to gaze at the stars for over an hour.
Glance. To glance at something means to look at it quickly.
She glanced behind her to see if he was looking at her.
Grief. Grief is the feeling of deep sadness, usually when a person dies.
The grief caused by losing her parents was very difficult for her.
Groom. A groom is a man who is going to be married.
The groom looked happy as he walked with his new wife.
License. A license is an official document that gives one permission to do something.
In the United States, you need a driver's license to drive legally.
Microscope. A microscope is a device that makes small objects look bigger.
Germs cannot be seen without a microscope.
Nuclear. When something is nuclear, it relates to the division or joining of atoms.
Nuclear power plants provide inexpensive energy to cities.
Portray. To portray something means to describe it or show it in a picture.
Her picture portrayed the house she grew up in when she was little.
Rotate. To rotate something means to turn it around in a circle.
An airplane's propellers rotate quickly to help it fly.
Souvenir. A souvenir is something you buy to remind you of a place or event.
I bought a Russian doll as a souvenir from my trip to Moscow.
Submarine. A submarine is a boat that can go underwater for long periods of time.
The submarine dove under the sea so the enemy couldn't see it.
Trace. To trace something means to follow over it with the eyes or a finger.
He traced over the graph with his finger.
An interesting life. A man looked through a piece of equipment used for jobs in the home.
Many homes have appliances like ovens, toasters, and refrigerators.
Basin. A basin is a large bowl for washing things. A sink is sometimes called a basin.
She filled the basin with water and washed her face.
Broom. A broom is a brush with a long handle used for cleaning floors.
My father usually uses a broom to sweep away dust in the basement.
Caterpillar. A caterpillar is a small insect that looks like a worm and eats plants.
After eating a lot of leaves, caterpillars change into butterflies.
Cupboard. A cupboard is a piece of furniture that is used to store food or household items.
We put all of our dishes and food in the cupboards.
Delicate. If something or someone is delicate, they are easy to break or harm.
You should hold the baby carefully because she's very delicate.
Emerge. To emerge from something means to come out of it.
The hand suddenly emerged from the grave.
Handicap. A handicap is a condition that limits someone's mental or physical abilities.
Joe has a slight handicap, so he uses a walker to get around.
Hook. A hook is a sharp, curved piece of metal used for catching or holding things.
The fish went after the sharp hook.
Hop. To hop means to jump a short distance.
The kangaroo quickly hopped away from danger.
Laundry. Laundry is clothes that have been or need to be washed.
He folded the clean laundry and put the dirty laundry in a basket.
Pursue. To pursue someone or something is to chase or follow them.
The mother pursued her young child down the hill.
Reluctant. If someone is reluctant, they do not want to do something.
She was reluctant to eat the meager breakfast.
Sleeve. Sleeves are the part of a shirt where your arms go.
Ryan bought a new shirt with long sleeves to keep his arms warm.
Spine. The spine is the bone that runs up and down the middle of the back.
Our spine helps us to stand up nice and straight.
Stain. A stain is a dirty mark that is difficult to clean.
He had a red stain on the collar of his shirt.
Strip. A strip is a long, narrow piece of material or land.
He had long strips of film that held images of his trip abroad.
Swear. To swear means to promise to do something.
I will put my hand on the Bible and swear to do my best for the country.
Swing. To swing something means to move it back and forth or from side to side.
He can swing a golf club very powerfully.
Utilize. To utilize something means to use it for a specific purpose.
They utilized a pair of scissors to cut the ribbon. The kitten and the